This is Foxboro's Fortress, your home for all the latest on the New England Revolution. Brought to you by Leading Lights, LLC. Hello and welcome back everyone to Foxboro's Fortress, your home for all the latest on the New England Revolution. I'm Cecil Kenny.
And I'm Raphael Babchuk. Today we'll break down the final 3 games the REVS players were involved in the international stage, the Red Bull game breakdown, and we'll take a look ahead to the SC Cincinnati match. Big thanks to our sponsor, Leading Lights LLC, for making this possible, who we'll talk about more later.
For now, let's look at how Fofana, Yusuf, and Ganigo fared last week internationally, which we will spend just about 30 seconds on. None of them played last week. They played, two of them, Mamadou Fofana didn't play at all during the international break, and then Ganigo and Yusuf played in their first 2 games, but they didn't play in that in those second games at all.
That's it. So,
yeah.
And for that section, all right.
Let's just move on to Red Bull, because I really want to talk about this, because this is a fun subject. It was a really rotated lineup again. Olmsberg started, but this was because Ceballos was injured.
I was so mad when I saw him not on the lineup, because Ceballos had obviously been my standout of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miller obviously made his 2025 debut as well, playing in that left-back role. Feingold was his partner at right back. That
left Sands and Bai both on the bench, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And then we had a Rudy up top again.
Let's just take a break for a second, and we'll
have a moment of silence for the Revs losing streak.
Oh my God, 2-1 against Red Bull.
That was incredible.
Victorious is the New England Revolution.
97th minute penalty. You were on the field for that.
I was on the field. I was right behind the goal on the on-field.
How did it feel?
You know, it was really great. I kind of wanted him to come over and celebrate with me because obviously it's me. I'm very famous. But I mean, you know, he decided to celebrate with the fans, which is fine, I guess. But I mean, it was amazing. It was a great penalty. I mean, he took a little step before and then he slotted into that left-hand side. It was a great penalty. What a win.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are mad about that stutter step penalty, but right. We don't care because we just won a game.
Yeah.
We are very happy with that. Luca Langoni, he looked so much better than previous games.
Honestly, I think almost every player had played their best game last
game. 100%. I know Polster was out of position again.
Yeah. There was maybe a few players who weren't as their best. We'll talk about them later, but I really want to talk about the positives from that game, which is like how we played as a team. That was really good.
Ganigo is showing flashes, which is great. $4.5 million is what we think is the buyout clause if he plays 20 games. It's not really looking worth it at this point because he's showing flashes, great, but we're seeing a problem. He's not converting those.
He won the penalty for us, right?
He did win the penalty. He dribbled it out of bounds on that previous one.
Right, yeah.
That would have been a penalty. But he got us the pen and
Carlos still slotted in,
which is great.
2-1. This is great win, our first win of the season. No donuts to speak about in this scoreboard. Although
I do want to shout out Caleb Pongratz and also J.D. Gunn, the Revs 2 keeper. Caleb Pongratz asked the question to J.D. Gunn about donuts, and we love to talk about donuts on this podcast.
We really do.
And so we just wanted to shout them out. Continuing on, though.
I mean, yeah, it was a great game. I mean, who's your standout for the game season?
That's a good question. I really liked Luca, but, Carlos Gil had that factor.
That free kick was... I mean, goalie was saving that. I mean, if you look at that highlight, the curve and then the height to bend back down, I mean, it was picture perfect.
It was beautiful. Like, last year, we only had 1 free kick go in, and we had 1 penalty. We had 1 of each last game. Like, that... Yeah. Now we're good. That we're not good, but, like, we feel a lot better after this 2-1 win.
They had a penalty called in like the 60th minute.
Something like that.
And then they called it off, which I did think it was a penalty.
Gonna go dribble out of bounds in that. Yeah. That's kind of annoying, but, he dribbled out of bounds. It's kind of...
Right, we didn't end up winning. Ivicic had a really great game. He had great saves. I feel with the goal that Eric Choupo-Moting scored, he kind of really just stood still. Like, we weren't playing that in museum. We were playing soccer, but,
it was a
tough goal.
As a goalkeeper myself, sometimes it's such a good strike in a way. It's really hard to react because, like, you're late. Like, it's already there, and you can't really do anything about it. And so, maybe he didn't move, but it's just something that's going to happen sometimes. You're going to let up goals.
What I do want to talk about is that goal came right before half.
Yeah.
And what I usually speak about is the goals right before half are kind of like the killers.
Yeah.
Like, you score a goal before half, that kind of takes all the momentum out. from the team. You get the momentum going into half, and that really helps with your mentality. So for the Revs to obviously concede at right before half and still come out the game winning, obviously winning was really good.
It was really good. Rudy had a really good game. I wouldn't say it was phenomenal, but he
Yeah.
had his best game for the Revs.
Definitely.
He left with a head injury. Hopefully it's not serious, because then we have an even worse striker crisis, because it wouldn't be like bad, because we would have Campana back for hopefully that NYCFC game again.
So he would just be out for our next game for Cincinnati. Right?
He might be back this game. I'm really not sure. Hopefully he's back. That would be great. If not, I think we play NYCFC after that. Or we play Atlanta after that, I think. Either way, we'd love to. I want to see him back, but we really hope that this Rudy injury is not bad, because that would not be good at all.
I mean, the way we started off that game, too, I thought we started off... Because before, obviously, Caleb Porter made that in his press conference before the game.
Yeah.
Right? He was talking about how, we've been playing attacking football. That's how I love to play. And me and Cesar were talking to each other saying, what do you mean playing attacking football?
We have not been doing that. He's like, our teams have loved playing attacking football, and this is the same for this team. We love playing attacking football. Well, that is not something that was showing.
Showed, during the season.
And then we come out of this game, and it was full-on attack. That first 10 minutes was great. That second 10 minutes, so that, 20 minutes, wasn't that as good. And then we were kind of, flip-flopping back and forth, and then it kind of evened out from, minute 30 to minute, 70. And then it was all them, I think, and then it was, all us, and that's, you know.
But I do have to say, the better team won this game. And the New England Revolution played their best this season so far.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't know if the better team won. I think Red Bull is still better than us.
Really? You think they played better?
No, they did not play better, but on paper they are the better team.
Yes,
I think we did play much better than them this game.
Mm-hmm.
When we say every game is difficult, we are the easy opponent.
Yeah.
And so
people look at us on the schedule saying, "Oh, that's a free win."
And we made sure that wasn't true.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the stats during the game. For us, we had 13 shots in total, 6 shots on target, 2.16 expected goals. So that's really great attacking. This is, I guess Caleb Porter was right in that press conference, because, I mean, we just started playing attacking football, which was really great. How did you feel about the lineup this game?
The lineup, we kind of already touched on it, but it was rotated, and I don't really like rotated lineups a lot, but I think it worked out in our favor very much. Olmsberg obviously came in because of the injury. We already talked about that.
I thought he had a great performance before, obviously, he got injured. You could tell he was visibly upset after that happened.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, he gets his debut for the team.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it sucks, because I thought he played really well. Obviously, in for the injured Ceballos.
Yeah, and so
after he got injured and got subbed off, Tanner Beeson came in.
He also made his debut.
Yep. He played all right.
He played all right.
I don't say anything too positive, but not anything negative.
It wasn't crazy. It wasn't Ceballos. It wasn't as good as Olmsberg was playing, but it wasn't bad. It was what you wanted from an injured replacing center back. We also had Keegan Hughes make his debut for the club.
But he didn't play that long.
He played for 30 seconds. He came in the 90+7.
Yeah. So what do you think of him?
I don't think he touched the ball.
Yeah. His positioning, I have to say, was really
He played
great.
one total minute and recorded absolutely 0 stats per FOTMOB.
Well, he was in his position, so we have to give him that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get to see more of him. My standout in the game was Peyton Miller. I thought he played really great the entire game. He's not too big, but he was playing physically. I mean, I really liked how he was playing the entire game. I was obviously on the side watching the game by the fort. And in that first half, I really loved he was being physical. He was my standout for the game.
Making his debut against a very good Red Bull team, at 17, not his debut, his 2025 debut, against Red Bull. He's only 17. He is a very good player, and he's gonna continue to do great things for us. Ivajic had a really good game, 4 saves, only 1 goal conceded to this team.
Right, which we said was a very good finish.
He made that really good 1v1 save. It just
and then with the 70-something minute.
Yeah, the team played phenomenally.
Yeah,
this
we
game.
really did. I mean, the only thing I do want to say is our midfield, Polster and Yusuf, weren't as good. Like, Yusuf, I feel, has been great all season. Today wasn't Well, not today. Yesterday wasn't really as good as he played.
Saturday.
He can, yeah.
We released this on Monday.
Yes. Not as good as he's been playing all season, but I mean it was still an okay performance. Polster again, not as good, but hopefully they can improve. But as a team, this was our best performance of the season for sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And then we'll just recap the subs for you, and we'll see how we'll get your opinion on how those went.
Yeah.
Tanner Beeson for Wyatt Olmsberg in the 37th. That was because of an injury. We already talked about that. Tanner Beeson doing pretty decent. We had Sanson for Miller at 65. I think he did pretty well. I think it was just because it was Miller's first game, and
Yeah.
you can't force him into a full 90 in his debut. That's just not really something you want to do. How do you think that Sands did?
Sands played well. He's been playing well ever since he's been coming in off the bench. He obviously started 2 games already this season.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but he's a very good player. Yes, Peyton Miller still was my standout, but Will Sands came in, and I think we have really, especially in that fullback position, we have a good amount of players, great depth.
Yeah. I wouldn't say great depth, but we've got
We
good
have
depth.
Brandon By,
Yep.
Eli Feingold,
Peyton Miller, and
Peyton
Wilson.
Miller
So
and
not
Will
bad.
Sands. So,
And then we've also
yeah.
got Demario McIntosh, who we can have on the first team. He's playing with REVS 2 right now, but he's always an asset that we can use at that fullback position. So I guess you're right about that fullback depth. Let's talk about Diaz for Rudy. I think it was planned, but it was also because Rudy was injured.
I thought Diaz came in and gave us a real nice spark. I mean, he was running down that
I disagree.
that right hand side. I felt he was doing really well. We got the penalty because he was running for that ball, and then it went to Ganago, and then Ganago obviously got taken out from the Red Bull defender. But I really thought when he came on, he gave us that spark needed, and I think he was the reason why we won that game.
You might have a point. I just don't think he did what I wanted him to do. I wish he provided even more of a spark because I really want him to see him to get that goal. He hasn't gotten a goal, and it seems like he's going to get a goal every
To
time.
be fair, only one player's gotten a goal for us this season.
And it's Carlos Hill.
It's Carlos Hill. Makes sense. He's our best player.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought he was really well. Out of all the subs that came in, I thought he was the best out of all of them. And then obviously we had Hughes come in for Langoni in the 97th minute. He only played 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our predictions, shall
Yeah.
we?
Actually, before we talk about predictions, I want to talk about the Red Bull players.
Yeah.
Because Carlos Miguel in goal saved Red Bull twice or 3 times in the first half.
Such a good player.
I mean, he made this one. Langoni, I thought, should have shot the ball maybe twice coming in from that right hand side. Could have slotted it into the left hand corner. And he kept laying it off for either Ganago or other players in the box. I felt he could have done something more. But, I mean, Carlos Miguel made this one diving save.
Carlos Cornell. Miguel.
Oh, yes, Miguel. Yeah. But, I mean, it was a great goal. Stopped, obviously, by the keeper. And then there was this one that it was blocked and then it hit the post. But we played really well. But, honestly, it was a great performance by their keeper.
Oh, yeah. And then we'll talk about our predictions. So you had Forsberg and Choupo-Moting. Eric Choupo-Moting.
Yeah, that is.
He
I started
scored.
singing that when he scored, even though I'm a REVS fan.
Yeah,
Catch your song right there.
that's why I keep singing it. It's in my head still. But yeah, 1-1 draw. You had both teams scoring at least a goal.
Right. Yeah. So to be fair, I did say that. I said both teams would score at least a goal. I did predict correctly that Red Bull would score 1 goal.
Yeah.
I also said Jackson Newell would score. He didn't play. Honestly, I think we benefited from it because all season I thought he didn't play that well. I don't know. I just thought he'd get lucky, but he didn't really play. So
You said that Forsberg would score in the 34th,
yeah, he didn't score. Choupo-Moting scored at the end of the before half.
but in
Forsberg
fairness,
impacted that goal. Yeah.
it was such a good, very, very good performance from my perspective from Forsberg. He had a really good game. He might not have scored or assisted, but he had himself a game.
I want to disagree on that actually.
Really?
I thought Forsberg, yes, he had an okay game, but for his quality, I thought he could have played better. He could have impacted the game more for his team. I'm happy he didn't play as well as he has been all season, but I thought he could have played a little more. He was a little waiting. There was just one play. It was like the 75th minute. He waited a little too long to give that through ball, and then Ivicic made a good save. But, I mean, it gave Ivicic time. I mean, I felt if he played that a little earlier, Red Bull could have scored. So I thought he could have done a little better. but for his quality.
Yeah, he's a very good player, but I think he had a very good game. But let's also talk about my predictions. I had a 3-0 loss. I had Forsberg, Choupo-Moting, and Carmona scoring.
So to be fair, you had Choupo-Moting scoring.
I did have Choupo-Moting scoring, but a 3-0 defeat is not what happened. I had the right total amount of goals, just I needed to distribute them better. Jackson Ewell obviously didn't play. He was your Revs goal scorer.
Yeah. Carmona, you said he would do. He didn't have much big of an impact. He got subbed off in the 70th minute. But all in all, what we want to say is the Revs won a game, and it's something we have more wins than LA Galaxy, former reigning MLS champions.
There we go.
So
they haven't had a good season.
Yeah, they lost same day on Saturday. Who did they lose to? But yeah, we have more wins than them, so that's I'm pretty proud of that because they have 0. They just lost to Orlando 2-1. So yeah, they ended up scoring first too. They also lost to a last-second goal in the 90th minute. So Revs have more win than reigning champions. Yes, here I'm gonna be negative Nancy over here. Okay, we did not score an open play goal.
Yeah, well, that's something I want to bring up too. Glad you mentioned it. We still haven't scored from open play. We scored off of a own goal.
Yeah.
Free kick.
Which was an amazing free kick. I just want to say that.
Yeah, beautiful free kick.
If we don't score that free kick, if it's like an inch off, because Carlos Hill had a beautiful free kick, but I mean, if he doesn't do that, we're not here talking about a win. And then we scored a penalty. So I mean, I want to see us from open play because we have not scored a goal from open play this season, and I really want to see that because if not, I mean, scoring just from set pieces is not how we're gonna
if
continue
we have
to win games.
One bad refereeing performance and now we're 4-0 in the hold. Like it's bad. But yeah, a Revs win. That's all I'm really gonna say right now. With that, I'm gonna hand it over to our sponsor. Unless you want to add anything else.
No, that is it.
All right, I'm gonna hand it over to our sponsor, Leading Lights LLC. Unlock the power of your platform data with Leading Lights, experts in transforming raw numbers into compelling benchmarks. Leading Lights helps a variety of companies turn insights into engaging stories that drive growth. Elevate your brand with data-driven content that captivates your audience and sets you apart from the competition with Leading Lights. Visit their website at leadinglights.io to see how you can transform your platform data. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Foxboro's Fortress, your home for all the latest on the New England Revolution. Again, I'm Cecil Kenny.
And I'm Rafael Babja.
And so let's look ahead to that FC Cincinnati match next week. So they are currently 3 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses, if I'm not mistaken. They beat Red Bull 1-0 in the opener. A bad loss to Philly 4-1, and then back-to-back 2-0 games. They beat Toronto 2-0, but then lost to Charlotte 2-0. They had their lone draw, which is kind of funny. It's against Atlanta 2-2 on the 22nd, and then ended up ending Nashville's 3-game winning streak with a penalty save by Roman Celentano, who we'll talk about later, and Kevin Denke, a 90th minute pen to seal the game. This was also while they were balancing Champions Cup, and they won 5-2 on aggregate against Montuega, I think. Mm-hmm. And then they lost 4-2 on aggregate to Tigres, so they're out of that. So they're fully healthy for the Revs, just what we needed against a very good team. They, I think, are better than Red Bull, with them beating them 1-0 in the opener. They obviously have Kevin Denke, Luca Orjano, Evander, Engel.
Evander Ferreira has been their standout so far this season.
He's been great. Kevin Denke,
top scorer with 4 goals.
Yeah.
He has 1 assist. I mean, he's playing really well.
He is playing really well. And also Nwobodo, I think. And then, but they have some really good players.
Yeah.
And so, they have some really great players. I'm going to talk about 2 that I want to highlight. Pavel Buka, 6 games, 1 assist. I'm a big fan of his name.
It's a cool name to say.
It is a really cool name to say. What nationality is he? I think he's Czech.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Actually, let me check on this. But yeah, he's a really great player. I mean, he plays really well. You're right, he is Czech. Yeah.
Okay. And then Roman Celentano. 6 games, 2 clean sheets. He's a great young keeper. He saved a pen last game and was man of the match.
24 years of age.
He's a very young keeper. He was drafted 2nd overall in the Super Draft a few years back out of Indiana. I fortunately got to meet him at a REVS game. It was Cincinnati versus the REVS. And I was fortunate enough to meet him, and he gave me his goalkeeper towel. And so it was a really nice interaction. I've been a big fan of his since. He's a very good player, as I mentioned. And so I think he'll do great things. Hopefully he gets a move to Europe sometime so he can experience that type of football.
And so he doesn't play against us. That would be cool.
That would be phenomenal. So we don't have to face that. Who are your 2 guys to highlight?
So yeah, my 2 guys to highlight, as I said, Evander Ferreira, Brazilian, 26 years old. He's a really great player. As I said, he's our top scorer with 4 goals. He has 1 assist. He's going to be really hard to stop. He plays in like that cam role, but really he's almost like Cappy, who kind of can really go anywhere on the pitch because he's given that freedom. He's a really strong player, and we're gonna have to deal with him. Obviously, he plays pretty well against the Revs as well, so we're gonna have to find a way to deal with this. Another player I also want to talk about is DeAndre Yeldon. Obviously, USA played with Messi and Inter Miami when they won their the first trophy. 31 years old. He is an older guy, but he's very speedy, very fast. So we're gonna have to deal with him.
Very experienced.
But yeah, on that right hand side, because he's older, but he's still a strong player. We're gonna have to deal with running up and down that flank.
And we're not gonna leave these guys out. But they've got Luca Orjano and they've got Kevin Denke. Those 2 guys are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Denke, MLS's all-time most expensive player brought in. Luca Orjano lit up the league last year. Hasn't had the greatest start for this season. He hasn't had a goal or an assist in his 4 matches played, but they've had a very good. Those 2 are very good, and it's gonna be scary to see what they do. Kevin Denke brought him for $16 million to MLS. He's still only 24, 5 matches, 3 goals. Very good player, very good striker. And then they obviously also brought in Evander, who you mentioned, for $12 million from Portland. He's a very good player. And then we're not gonna leave out Lucas Engel, who's on loan from Middlesbrough, I think. He's a very good player. Just kind of getting accustomed to the league, but he's done very good in his limited time here. So I wouldn't sleep on any of those guys. They've got a very good team, and I think they do have more stars than Red Bull do. And so it's gonna be
tough. Yeah. So as we're talking about this, who we think is gonna be good for Cincinnati? How about the Revs? Who do we think is gonna play well in that game?
Carlos Hill.
Yeah.
I feel like he always does good against Cincinnati. And so I hope that continues. Mamadou Fofana, I always like to peg him as a great player.
Yeah,
and
I hope is Ceballos going to come back for this game? Do we know?
I don't know what the update is on that. Of course, it's only Sunday when we're recording this, so we don't have a lot of information regarding injuries from last night and prior. I think Feingold will have a good game, and then Miller. I think our back line will do very good just because our defense has been very good. It's going to be difficult. We might let up 2 or 3 goals, because they have all that attacking talent.
They do.
And then they don't have the greatest defenders, but it's no slouch of defenders. We don't really have that attack, but I'd really love to see Luca Langoni pop off this game. So I'm gonna peg him as the guy to pop off this game.
I mean, Langoni played really well. In this last game, way better than he's done in the games before in the season. I mean, he really showed great energy. I mean, as I said before, there was a few times he could have really slotted into that left-hand side on the break. Instead, he kind of laid it off for Ganago and a few other players, where I think if he gains that confidence to do it himself, he can score goals.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. I think if he gets a goal, then he can really start playing well.
Yeah. Let's do predictions.
Yeah. You want to go first?
Sure. So, scoreline. I hate to say it. I think we will score this game, though. It's not going to be an own goal. I think it could be a free kick. It might be a pen. I'm not sure how this is going to shake out. I'm going to say it's going to be a free kick that someone scores off the free kick. And so I guess you could call it open play, but I don't know if I want to call it open play because it's off of a set piece. I want to see a goal from open play. I'm going to say 2-1. I think our backline is really going to hold FC Cincinnati even all their attacking talent, I think our back line has that talent to hold them. And then all of our depth there is very good. I think Carlos Gil or Luca Langoni takes it, and then either Carlos Gil or Ganago or Yusuf, like one of those three guys, they go and they get the ball to score from that free kick. And so for Cincinnati, I've got Denke scoring. I think he's a very good player. And then I think I do have Evander scoring.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, very good player. What's your prediction?
Yeah, so first things first, I do want to say it's very tough to play in Cincinnati. They have a great atmosphere.
They have a phenomenal atmosphere. I mentioned, I went to a game there. They had Taylor Swift in town that week, and Taylor Swift packs out football stadiums, but it was different there. It was another environment in TQL Stadium. It is a whole nother everything in there. It's it's an environment that I would love to go back to see again.
That's what you want Gillette to feel like, because I feel like Gillette, we've lost kind of our atmosphere.
We haven't really had an atmosphere. It's too big, and so it's not really the Revs' home. And so TQL, they can easily pack out their stadium, and they're a good team to go along with it. If the Revs, I don't want the stadium to be in Everett, because then Foxboro's Fortress isn't really relevant, but we'll keep the name.
Yeah.
But I'd really love to see the Revs find a way to do something to mimic the environment that Cincinnati has. It's such an incredible environment, and I'd love to go back someday. It's really phenomenal.
Yeah, but to get into my prediction, I said I was negative Nancy before about us not scoring from open play. Well, this game we will score from open play.
Really?
1-0 New England.
Really?
1-0 New England. Luca Langoni scores.
Let's go.
On the counter.
Yeah.
61st minute.
Nice.
Same thing as I've been saying. He'll go down that right-hand side, slot it in to that left-hand corner. I think we do win 1-0.
That's awesome.
And I know I'm trying to be a little positive, a little different, but I think this win is going to really catapult us to winning ways.
That'd be phenomenal. I'd love to
have a win streak more than one game.
That's incredible. Yeah. What do you think the lineup? Because we've had rotated lineups, and so let's I know you've got injuries to deal with.
Yeah.
But what do you think we've got?
Yeah, I think for our lineup, I think we still have Ivic in net. Feingold right back. I think Ceballos does come back, so he pairs up with Fofana in the center back role. I think Peyton Miller gets rewarded with another start because he played fantastic. And then I think in our midfield, we're going to have Yusuf still in it, and I think Polster comes back to... I think Jackson Ewell will come back to play in that position. Polster goes to the bench. I think Arudi will be fit enough to play the game.
Okay.
I don't think Campana plays. I think they're going to still want to wait. We're going to have Arudi up top, Ganago and Langoni on the wings, and then Carlos Hill kind of in that cam role, going really anywhere on the attacking side of the pitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something very similar to you. Ivic in net, Miller and Feingold on the fullback, because I think both of them did really well.
Yeah.
Olmsberg only if Ceballos isn't fit. If Ceballos is fit, it's gonna be Ceballos.
Do you think Olmsberg's come back too from injury?
I guess you're right about that.
Yeah.
So I guess if there's an injury, still I think it will be Tanner Beeson. I don't think Olmsberg. I know it's a hamstring, so I don't think he'll be back. I think it could be similar to the Campana injury, so he might be out a bit. And then obviously Farrell's injured, so that's gonna be interesting. So Keegan Hughes is the next guy up there. But Fofana definitely, unless there's an injury. Obviously, if any of these is injured, it's different. Yeah, I think if it's not Ceballos, it's going to be one of the two guys. It will probably be Beeson because Olmsberg would be injured. Thank you for pointing that out. In the midfield, I think he'll keep Polster and Yusuf. Mm-hmm. We did very good last game, and we didn't have Jackson Ewell play at all.
I will say those two, Yusuf and Polster, were kind of not, out of everyone else on the pitch on our side, they weren't as good as their level. I think they were the two lacking. In my opinion.
But they allowed the other guys to do something. I'm not sure what it was, because you'd like to have the most talent on the field, and I think Jackson Ewell is better than Matt Polster at this point.
Yeah.
But I think we did perform better with those guys on the field. Yusuf wasn't terrible. Polster wasn't terrible. I think Jackson Ewell is better than Matt Polster, like I mentioned, but I think those two stay because we'll try and ride the momentum. again, Ganago and Langoni and Heel, those three. And then if Arudi is injured, Ganago goes up top and Luis Diaz on the wing. That's hopefully Arudi is okay. I know the head injury is not something that is very good. Hopefully he's okay. If so, Ganago up top with Luis Diaz in the wing probably. But that's probably gonna do it. Thank you all for listening. Go follow us on X at NEPodcastingNet.
Yeah, make sure to watch us on Spotify, obviously, under Foxboro's Fortress, and then YouTube, we're on NEPodcastingNet. Thank you to Leading Lights LLC again, and our new next episode will be coming out next Monday. Go REVS. And
stay tuned for that next Monday. We'll have a special guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for listening. I'm Cecil Kenny.
And I'm Raphael Babchuk. And this was Foxboro's Fortress.